What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 258 of the A2D From Addict to Disciple podcast. I'm David Hain. I hope you enjoy this episode, and it's a Wacky Wednesday. So will be the first of two episodes that drop today. If you enjoy these episodes, please like, subscribe, follow, and share the link with your friends. If you'd like to get our curriculum, you can get the paperback or ebook of From Ashes to Destiny on Amazon. Again, this is episode number 258, and it's entitled Heart Nature versus Actual Behavior. And as a Wacky Wednesday, we're going to be going through one of the chapters from the From Ashes to Destiny curriculum. We're in phase 3, which deals with moral regeneration and positive character development. And we're in chapter 5, which covers step 5 of the 12 steps. And this is the first story from that chapter. I'm calling it the story of Germaine. Around 3 a.m., our phone rang. It was Jenny on the line. "Come here quick. Cassie locked herself in the bathroom, and Germaine is banging on the door with a gun, threatening to kill her." Jenny's voice was frantic. "Why is he doing that? What's going on?" I asked while getting dressed. $2,000 is missing, and Germaine is convinced that Cassie took it, said Jenny. In less than 10 minutes, I was climbing the stairs to the second floor of Germaine's house. As soon as he saw me, Germaine said, "Pastor Dave," and began to cry like a baby. He put down the gun and fell into my arms as he cried out to God and me. For the first time in the year that I knew Germaine, there was no pretense. He was genuinely broken by the depth of his sin. We talked and prayed for hours, and Germaine decided to sell his house and move back to Georgia to begin an honest life. Unfortunately, within moments after I left, the young women in the house were begging Germaine to stay if he really loved them. Germaine stayed in the house and his business, but he was different. He opened his house to me for weekly Bible study and supported my efforts in aiding any of the women who wanted to help to get out of that lifestyle. 5 women made it out, got clean, and were reunited with their families over the next 6 months. Germaine died of a heart attack shortly thereafter, and the police shut down the house. Okay, so this is the same Germaine that we were introduced to in the last chapter. So let's see what step 5 is about and then get into the story again. Step 5 of the 12 steps says, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. And I say again and again as we go through these steps that as we're admitting to other people, it's topic, not detail. Sometimes, most times, the detail is going to cause more harm than good. So topic, not detail. So when I ask you at a topic level, how would you describe Germaine's exact nature of his wrongs? As a pimp, as a guy who ran a house and sold drugs to the girls that stayed there, as you heard from the last chapter, how would you describe the exact nature of his wrongs? Second question from this story. Well, the story starts with a frantic call for help because Germaine threatened to kill Cassie. Have you been in any situations where you were mad enough that you thought you might kill? Or that someone was mad enough to kill you? What was it about? Germaine's was about money. But it drove him to the point of getting a gun and threatening to kill. Number 3. When I arrived, Germaine broke down, cried, and fell into my arms. What do you believe broke in him at that moment? Do you think his heart revealed to his mind the exact natures of his wrongs as a pimp? How would you describe them? Number 4. Germaine had reached his breaking point and was genuinely broken. There was no pretense left in him. So what pretense must a pimp or dealer keep up to stay in his position of power? Think through Germaine's lifestyle as the pimp, the dealer, the businessman running the whole house and the business with someone booking, escorting dates for the women, someone acting as the driver, somebody running drugs. So what pretense did he need to keep up to maintain his position of power? And what pretense must all pimps that you know keep up, or all dealers? What pretense must you keep up to feel in control of your addiction? How did you get involved in manipulation and power pretenses, especially power over loved ones or others, to stay in your addiction? Number 5, Germaine saw that his actual behavior didn't line up with his heart nature, so he decided to quit and move home to Georgia. Sure, that's a big move, right? He was in Philadelphia, so it's a huge move to move back home after being in this position of power and money. What big changes would you need to make to follow your heart nature? Number 6, the women in the house begged Germaine to stay if he really loved them. You remember from the previous chapter, he told the women he loved them and he would always take care of them. Who has talked you out of changing when you have had previous breakthroughs? Have you heard the words from someone saying, if you really love me, you would this or that or the other thing? Have you had people who loved the gangster, loved the addict in you, the lifestyle when you had all the money, and they didn't want you to change to your true heart nature? Number 7, Germaine stayed in response to the women asking him to stay and keep the house open, but he was different. You remember he allowed me to come in for weekly Bible studies, and no one was allowed to have a date when I did that. He also would allow me to work with any of the women who wanted to leave that life, go to rehab, get their lives back together, be reunited with families. And in the past, he would never allow me to do that. And now he was helping me do that. So major changes of a difference that took place. So I want to ask you, what evidence do you see that would be the heart winning? What would be the heart wins in your new behavior? Right? Germaine's was huge. What things would change in you that would say your heart is winning over your mind and over your addiction, and therefore your behavior is changing? Number 8, what areas do you think you need to change in your behavior if your heart nature truly wins? It sounds like I'm repeating number 7, but I'm just driving it home. So I first asked you in number 7, what would be natural sort of things that you'd see as changes? But I want you to dig deeper with this one. What areas do you think you need to change so that your heart nature can show up? Sometimes we need to intentionally start doing what our heart would want. And by intentionally starting to do them, our heart nature can actually then control our actual behavior moving forward. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks for listening. If you were moved by this and want to talk to someone, I urge you to reach out, join a group, talk to your coach, counselor, your sponsor, whoever. You can message me on the link in this podcast or by email at davidfroma2d@gmail.com, or go to my website, www.froma2d.org, and click on the contact page. Keep listening to future podcast episodes, and as always, stay safe and stay resilient.